Joining us now, the Republican governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan. Governor Hogan, thanks so much for joining us. You just announced these new vaccine protocols for some state employees. Who do these new rules apply to, and why did you select these specific groups?
Well, we're very concerned about this Delta variant, which is 2 to 4 times more contagious and potentially causes more severe disease. And we're doing great in our state because we're one of the most vaccinated states, but we're concerned about congregate facilities. So people that work in our health department, public facilities, that work in the Department of Juvenile Services and our Department of Corrections, and in our veterans homes, in our Department of Veterans Affairs. So places where we have vulnerable populations that are exposed, and we have some workers. Most of our state workers have done the right thing and gotten vaccinated. But in some of those places, we want to make sure that those folks that are on the front lines, who have the ability to impact and infect folks, that they make sure to go ahead and get vaccinated.
I know you're calling, Governor, on Marylanders to wear masks, but you've declined to put a statewide mask mandate into effect. Why not enforce mask wearing while this Delta variant, which is so awful, is spreading so rapidly?
Well, from the beginning of this crisis, we have followed the science and listened to our terrific team of public health doctors and epidemiologists, and they aren't recommending it at this time. Look, we've got 77%, nearly 78% of our entire population is vaccinated, and 94 almost percent of our seniors are vaccinated. As a result, we have some of the lowest infection rates, lowest positivity rate, lowest hospitalizations of any state in America. And people who are vaccinated, while it is still possible to get a slight version of the disease, very few cases of that happening in our state. And 100% of our hospitalizations and deaths at this time in Maryland are people who are unvaccinated. So today, we again are pulling out all the stops to get those remaining 22% of our folks vaccinated.
Yeah, that's so critically important. You're absolutely right, Governor. What's your message, though, to some of your fellow Republican governors who are actually fueling misinformation about masks, including the Florida Governor, Ron DeSantis, who has gone so far as to threaten to pull state funding from schools that institute mask mandates?
Look, I can't speak for the governor of Florida, but I can tell you we've taken a completely different approach in our state, which is, while we're concerned about the Delta variant, we had about, 500 cases on Friday. I think they had 21,800 cases. We've got about 300 COVID patients in all of our hospitals, and they have 10,000. We're at some of our lowest points in the pandemic. And they're at the highest point in the entire 18 months, both on cases and hospitalizations. So I would say, we're going to stick with the approach we've been taking.
As you correctly point out, Maryland is doing well with vaccinations, one of just 20 states to have fully vaccinated more than half of its residents. Have you considered, though, instituting some policies to further encourage vaccinations, perhaps like New York City, where vaccines will soon be required for so many indoor activities like restaurants and gyms and various concerts, other indoor events?
Well, we're far more vaccinated than New York City is, and we've got, as I mentioned, 76% of our population 18 and over. So we're also well past 60-some% with our 12 to 17-year-olds, which have only been able to get the vaccine for a while. So, all of our metrics are great. We'll take steps as we see fit, but right now we don't see any requirement for having those kinds of issues. Again, we're at some of our lowest points in the entire pandemic, and while we're concerned about the unvaccinated, we don't want to see anybody else hospitalized. We don't want to lose any more Marylanders. Most people are doing what it takes to stay safe.
I know there's still a lot of interest, a lot of questions. Parents are really worried. Schools about to reopen throughout the state of Maryland. What's going to be the requirement for in-class learning as far as masks are concerned?
Well, so in Maryland, our duly elected local school boards have that authority, and they're all, first of all, the great news is that every single one of our 24 jurisdictions is going to get all of our kids back in the classroom this year, which is, they've suffered greatly by not being in school. About half of our systems were open the entire year, and we had little to no incidents with our kids. The good news is kids have not been as impacted by the virus, but many of our school systems are making the decision to require masks in the classrooms, and that's their right to make those decisions, and we support them for following the science in their own jurisdictions.
And you're not going to withhold state funding from those school districts who do that, which is obviously so smart. You want to make a final thought? Is that what you want to do?
No, I just want to say, we're concerned about making sure we get the rest of those people vaccinated because we don't want to have to take, reinstitute, mask mandates everywhere. We don't want to have to shut businesses, and we want to be able to get our kids back in school. And the way to do that is to get vaccinated. And, I want to plead with those folks that are out there that are listening to, crazy misinformation, that they need to get vaccinated. It's the only way to stay safe and keep our economy and rolling.
Well said. Maryland Governor Larry Hogan, thanks very much for joining us. Thanks for all you're doing.
Thank you, Wolf.